Welcome students to this classroom. I am Alexander Ndibalemu, the instructor of the course OSP 102, which is Social Work Professional Ethics. And today we are going to look into the nature of social ethics, which is the first module in this course. Specifically today, we look into 4 issues. The first one will be the concepts, which are values and ethics. And secondly, we just look into the rationale of social ethics and values into the profession. And thirdly, we look into the values of social profession with some details. And lastly, we look into the principles, the ethical principles that are crucial in social work profession. Students, social work is a value-based profession. That says social work must consider values in the profession. And any practice in social work should be guided by a code of ethics, without which social work will lose its meaning, without which social work can no longer be a profession. So it is very important. It is so crucial in social profession to consider the values and ethics into practice. Social values. What are these values? Generally, you can see when we talk about values, we say a value is a type of belief. It is something that you look into the wealthy, something wealthy, and something not wealthy. It is just giving weight to something, and it's something that is less weight, and that we talk about the value. So, value of a person, value of everything, value of a thing. And in social work profession also, it involves doing something that is worthy, doing something that is important, and the vice versa can also be true. When you do something that is not worthy, we say this is about social values. And in value, in practice values, when we are practicing, when we are providing services to the clients, we should make sure that we abide with these values. When you give a value to a person, you give a value to a client that you are giving services. And without which giving the value, the service will not be considered as a profession, considered as a social work practice. Social ethics also, this involves the principles and the standards that specify what is good and what is bad. It clarifies what should be done and what should not be done. When we are providing services to the client, when we are helping clients to solve their own problems, where we are empowering, providing counseling and so on, we need to be to adhere to the code of ethics, to adhere with the standards of social profession, to adhere with the principles of social profession. That there are things that should not be done and there are things that should be done when we are providing services to the clients. And these are social work ethics. As I've said earlier, that social work without ethics and values cannot be social profession, because we provide the quality of service, and this is the social work. It's a must in social profession to abide with this, because to consider it as a profession, it should be with social work ethics and values. Why should we consider social work ethics in social work practice. There are a lot of things that we can consider, we can discuss, but today we look into these four reasons why we say social ethics are very, very important to the practice. One, we abide with ethics because it provides the quality service of clients. The service cannot be provided in its quality if at all it is not abided with social work ethics. That's why we have the ethics so as to provide the quality of services, so as to provide what the clients need. So to provide what are the clients expected of us to provide them, so as to meet their expectations, to solve their problems in a way that is standard. Secondly, we abide with social work ethics because it helps us to solve the dilemma during practice. It is the one that when we face difficulties, when we have problems in solving problems, social ethics help us to solve the dilemma. The dilemma in making decisions, the dilemma in solving problems, whereabout there is a conflict between the client and the practitioner. There is a conflict where there is between the policy and the service that is provided to the client. There is a dilemma between the culture, the traditions, and the profession itself. Now, social ethics put in a way that these dilemmas are solved. And thirdly, it increases the trust of the profession itself. When you provide the quality of services, abiding with the ethics, it increases the trust of the clients to the professional. The trust of the clients to the practitioner who is providing the service. And this means the client will now be free to express the feeling, will be free to provide all the information that has brought to the practitioner so as to be solved. And this is to say, social ethics protect professionalism. And fourth, it's about inhuman treatment, because when you provide service, you can't violate the human rights, you can't provide injustice. So these social ethics are set in a way that it guides the practice not to violate the client's rights. Let's also look into the social work professional values. There are 6 professional values, which are service, social justice, dignity and worth of a person, importance of human relationship, integrity, and competence. When we say service, what do we mean? Service, social provides service freely. We don't expect to gain anything. It's a non-beneficial practice. It's a non-beneficial service. And we provide service without looking any gain from it. And secondly, when we talk about social justice, we avoid biases. We avoid violation of rights. And dignity and worth of a person, in fact, we look into the worth of a person. We look into the rights of a person. We look into what we put that is a human being deserves to be respected. The respect, the dignity, And the importance of human relationship, because this is when people gather together in the society, there are some issues that they can develop one another, they can learn from one another, and also there are some behaviors that are generated in the relationship within the community. It is so important to know the human relationship when you look into the culture, the tradition, and the ethnicity. That is so important to look into these relationships and how they affect the behavior of a human, the behavior of a person. And the integrity is also look into the respect of a human being, because we avoid biases. We avoid providing substandard services. And also the last one of these values is competence. I say competence because social work is a profession. And to be professional, you need to have knowledge, skills, and practice should be quality and reach to what is expected of the practitioner to the client. What are these ethical principles? When we look into those values, there are principles that guide the values. And when you are looking for, or you are providing the services to the client, social workers should consider these values. And there are principles that direct the services, direct the social justice, direct in fact the values that I have just mentioned before. When you look at the first value, service, what are the principles? There are a lot of principles, but today we just mentioned a few. And one is we abide with the code of ethics. When you are providing services, should be abided by the code of ethics, the social work code of ethics. And secondly, when we provide services, we should consider humanity. We should consider that these are human beings. They deserve to be respected. They have got their rights, and to provide it with quality services. When we are providing service also, we should consider the participatory. The client should participate fully, because at the end of the day, the client should be able to solve his problems, should be able to own his problems. That's why we consider the service to be participatory. And when it is participatory, it's obvious the client will provide every information that is needed for the service to be provided, for the help to be provided. Also, when we look into the service, the client should be informed, should have the consent of the client, because when the client is not well informed of what the service is going to be, he will or she will not provide all the information that is needed. But at the end of the day, the service should look into the self-determination of a client, because we say the client should own his problems. He solve the problems. When the client is not owning his problems, solving the problems will not be possible. And also, in the service, we look into the manner, because the service should consider the ethics, the manner that the service provider is not providing any violation of human rights and so on. And at the end of the day, the service should be evaluated, because this is the professional service. It is a change. It is a process. When it is a process, there are a lot of things that should go about and should be evaluated, should be monitored. At the end of the day, the service should be terminated. And the second value is social justice. And what are the principles of the social justice? When we talk social justice, we consider the fairness. When we provide services, it should be fair, should not be biased. Also, in social justice, We should not discourage the clients. We should discourage the injustice. We should discourage the inequalities. This is what we call fairness. Every client deserves to be respected, deserves to be given the equal service without being prejudiced, discriminated, and something of the sort. Also, in social justice, we promote human rights. Every person needs to be respected, needs his rights to be protected, needs his rights to be promoted. There are a lot of human rights according to the conventions and human rights documents and so on, that human deserves to be respected, to be free to express his feelings, not to be tortured and so on. Also, in social justice, we challenge abuse. Nowadays, as we just hear, there are a lot of abuses, and the groups that are abused mostly those the marginalized groups. We focus into the women, we focus into the children, people with disabilities, and so on. So, with social justice, when we're providing this service, we need to discourage, we need to challenge the abuse. But we need to consider the respect of ethnic and cultural identities. We serve different people. We serve different persons from different cultures, from different ethnic identities, from different traditions, from different nations, different tribes, and so on. They have got their own behavior. They have got their own experiences. Now we need to respect the differences in terms of the ethnic and the cultural identities. We need to respect whatever they are presenting to us without discrimination, without prejudice, without abuse, without injustice and inequalities. The thirdly is dignity and the worth of a person. In this value, we need to respect the human rights, as I've said earlier in social justice. Also, we need to respect all the services users without prejudice, without discrimination. We respect the person. We respect the dignity of a person, give him the worth, give him the value as a human being. We need to promote dignity of a person. We need to protect the service. We need to protect the service of the users. We need to protect our clients. The fourth of these ethical principles is the importance of human relationship. In this importance of human relationship, why is it so important? I said all the problems arise from the relationships, and our relationship from the family level to the community, the society, and so on. When people come together, when people stay together, there are some differences that arise from contacting one another. And then we need to respect the potentialities of a human. We need to respect we need to respect the ethnic and the cultural identities, as I said, in the dignity of the person, because one-people relationship is where a lot of problems arise. Another value is the integrity. When you say the integrity, we focus on the honesty, we focus on the reliable, we focus on the openness, we focus to avoid violation of the rights of a person. That's integrity. That's a social work professional, social work practitioner should be honest, should be reliable and open, and avoid violation of human rights, avoid any abuse, avoid anything that is injustice, avoid anything that can drive you to inequalities treat people as equal, treat people as a human being. But you should look into yourself, into the integrity of the profession itself. The lastly is the competence. When we say competence, we focus the knowledge, we focus the skills, we focus the practice itself. Those are very important into this profession when we are providing services to the clients. And so, in competence, we use and disseminate knowledge. We provide knowledge to our clients. We provide knowledge to our colleagues. We provide knowledge to the organization that we're working with. And now knowledge goes with theory, goes with skills of the social profession itself. We need to consider consultation, because any practitioner should seek consultation. A practitioner cannot know everything. He cannot be knowledgeable to everything. Social profession seeks other professions, seeks other disciplines to give more information, because it cuts across any aspect of human being. When you fail, when you are providing services, you need to seek consultation to others that know much more about the issue that you are dealing with. For example, you have a client who needs money, who needs to be provided money, and then you would not provide money, but there are some organizations that provide loans. You need to seek consultations. You need to connect with other service providers so that the service will be complete. Also, a social worker is a researcher. We need to be sure that we find evidence. It is an evidence-based profession, because you cannot provide any service that be backed up with evidence. You need to do research to know the facts so that you can provide the quality service. Also, to be more professional, to be more competent, we need to abide with training for the professional development. All the time, issues are changing, people are changing, there are changes that are occurring in the society that need to study all the time. We need to do research, we need to have the evidence so that when we provide service, we are sure that we provide the service that is needed and that will bring about the positive changes. This is the end of this session. I just say goodbye. I wish you all the best in the coming session. You're welcome. Thank you.